Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books, reading and stuff. Here I am in Pasanauri by the River Aragvi. This will be my July wrap-up. I know it's nearly the end of August. I'm still away. I'm in Pasanauri, as you saw in the intro. In July I had 8 books on my TBR and I read 8 books, although only 6 of those were from the TBR. I've put out a lot of 1-minute reviews for many of these books. I'm still recording on my phone because I'm away. First on the TBR was Nights of Plague by Orhan Pamuk. This was a NetGalley arc. It was about a plague that came to the fictitious island of Mingaria during the Ottoman Empire around 1901 and what happened. I'll link to the review here. Then Persuasion. This was for Jane Austen July. Persuasion by Jane Austen, of course. For me, this was a 5-star read, and it's my favourite Jane Austen to date. Anne Elliot is older than the usual Jane Austen heroine. She's 7 and 20, which is almost over the hill for a Jane Austen protagonist. And Captain Wentworth, her love interest, is also different to the usual landed gentry or clergy in Jane Austen's book. He's in the Navy, and in the Navy he can rise quite quickly. And again, I did a 1-minute review of this. Also on my TBR was Poole's Gold by C.J. Petit. This I had for June on the Range back in June. I still haven't got to it. I am reading more Westerns, so thank you Michael K. Vaughan for initiating June on the Range. Maybe I'll get to Poole's Gold next June. Then there was Dead Land by Sara Paretsky. This was my first 1-minute review. This is the 21st book about V.I.Warshawski, Sara Paretsky's private eye, who lives in Chicago, and she's investigating the disappearance of a singer who has post-traumatic stress after a mass shooting, and then the body count starts mounting, so she's investigating some murders as well. Then I had The Black Book, also by Orhan Pamuk, the Nobel Prize winner from Turkey. I haven't finished this yet. This is my last physical book here in Pasanauri, and I'm on page 72. Another Nobel Prize winner, Jose Saramago, All the Names. This was a great book. I finished it the last day of July. It's about a clerk who's working in the central registry of an unnamed country, and he pulls out the card of an unknown woman and he becomes obsessed by her, and it's this story. There's elements of Kafka. Also, it reminds me of the possessiveness of Love in the Time of Cholera and the Museum of Innocence. There's Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. I was confused by the story. I found it difficult to follow. This had an interesting publication history. Bulgakov was writing in the Stalinist era, and this was published a long time after his death. Even to have had the manuscript in the Stalinist era was very risky because the Stalinist era was very oppressive. But it's a strange story. Again, there's a 1-minute review for this. Before I came away, I read AWOL on the Appalachian Trail. This was a great way to experience the Appalachian Trail without actually walking on it. It tells you about all the difficulties and also the joys of walking the Appalachian Trail, the blisters, the insects, the bears, but also the camaraderie between the other through walkers. A through walker would go from one end of the Appalachian Trail, 2,200 miles, to the other end. For most through walkers, it begins in Georgia and ends in Maine, but some come the other way as well. There were 2 books that weren't on my TBR, which I read. There was Full Moon, which is the second of the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. This was a 4-star read for me. And there was The Black Pages by Nnedi Okorafor. This is about a student from Chicago who goes to Africa, where she witnesses an Al-Qaeda attack in Timbuktu, and the Al-Qaeda attack releases a spirit that's been trapped for millennia in an ancient manuscript, and this spirit takes possession of the student's iPad. So those were the books that I read in July. That was my July wrap-up. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.